I like
You like to touch it.
I
I
do.
like to touch it. I like to feel the movie. I like to put it on my soft skin and press it in there.
Hey everybody, welcome back yet again to another episode of Sideways in Time. I am your co-host Lucha Chris. Over here is my buddy Patriot Pat. What's going on, Pat?
Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm doing well. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing good. This could easily have been a 2 to 3 hour podcast. As long as that damn fucking Full Gear pay-per-view was, we could literally talk the entire way through it. So we're gonna do a Mount Rushmore of worst gimmicks in pro wrestling. We're going to do some general bullshitting about whatever we would like. Obviously, we're going to go over some Full Gear results and our prediction, who did what in the predictions for Full Gear. And we're also going to open up or end the show with a new segment we're calling Sideways in Time Theater.
Yeah.
Where we're
getting sophisticated and shit.
Yeah, and we're gonna it's gonna be a little skit that we're gonna do, and I honestly I'm kind of stoked for it. So hopefully we enjoy it while we do it, because I want to do more of these. And then yeah, we'll just kind of bullshit around outside of that. It was super nice yesterday. It was like 72 degrees yesterday. Now it's back down to like 40. So we're doing great.
Welcome to Missouri.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm kind of stoked outside of wrestling news, because I get a chance to see the new Ghostbusters before anybody else, which I'm kind of excited about.
One of the perks of working at the theater, right?
Yep. And that's even the funnier part is I technically get paid by the theater, but I don't actually work at the theater. But yeah, nonetheless, I don't know if I'm going to do it tonight or not, because usually the staff stays over till like after midnight and watches whatever comes out the night after. But I'm a little I'm a youngin', but I'm a little too old to be watching movies in the theater until 2 a.m. I'll be that guy snoring in the theater. So I don't think I'm going to do that, but I'm super excited for that movie. I'm trying not to over anticipate anything just in case it's awful, which is always a possibility these days.
See, I never saw the reboot that they did a few years ago, and I wanted to see it, but then when I heard just how horrible the script was, and I got nothing against the all-female cast. I mean, it's not that. It's not this misogynistic Ghostbusters for men. It was just the way the script was done. I heard was horrible, and you can only act your way out of dog shit so much. Yeah,
I mean, it had its moments where there was some funny parts, but you have really funny actresses playing these parts. So of course, like Melissa McCarthy is hilarious, and then the
Kristen Wiig and Leslie, what's her name? They're all they're all brilliant.
The entire cast was great, but yeah, I mean, like you said, you can only do so much. It had its moments, but not enough to really make it memorable or likable, unfortunately. But I mean, I own it, of course, because I own 1,200 something DVDs and Blu-rays. But they
have this thing called Netflix and Amazon and stuff. They have.
I like the physical. I like
to touch it.
I
like to touch it. I like to feel the movie. I like to put it on my soft skin and press it in there.
Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and jump into the first segment of the episode.
I like to rub the cassettes on my taint.
The pickles. So episode 011. That's 11 for you non-smart marks out there. I don't know why you would be or wouldn't be a smart mark for not knowing what that number up there is that way.
Yeah. I don't know, but if you're listening to us, you might be a smart mark, but you're listening to a couple dumbasses.
They were listening before you started moaning and talking about your taint. So we're going to come back to a segment right now that we haven't done in a little while. At least I don't think we have. I don't. It feels like
It's been a few weeks.
Yeah, I think so. We're gonna do another Mount Rushmore today. We're both being really bad about actually getting polls out there. We need to be on top of doing that after every show, so that. But we don't. Honestly, the last few weeks, and it's been kind of nice. We don't know what we're doing on this show until the morning of or the night before. So in all honesty, it doesn't bother me that much either.
Well, 100% transparency. I texted Luch when I got to work yesterday. What's the format for tomorrow? And it wasn't like a panic. It was more like a, hey dude, what are we doing?
Yeah,
and he was like, he was like, how about A, B, and C? And I was like, let's throw D in there. And he's like, all right, throw me the D. And I'm like,
always got to throw the D in it.
Yeah, you just whip the D around.
All right, so our Mount Rushmore today is going to be and I guess it was it a Twitter suggestion?
Yeah, I saw it. Somebody suggested it, and then I should have taken the names down, but somebody suggested what's the worst gimmicks, and then somebody goes, hey, they go, hey, how about this for a Mount Rushmore? Somebody else replied, so that's what we're doing. I'm doing worst gimmicks that actually worked. Because there's just so many bad gimmicks.
Yeah, all right. No, I'm good with that. Actually, that's not a bad idea because there's a lot of bad gimmicks.
No, there's horrible gimmicks. I mean, we could spend more time talking about worst gimmicks than we could about Full Gear.
I totally agree, and I think I have mine actually. So, do you want to start us off? Who do you got?
Okay, yeah. So these are my Mount Rushmore of worst gimmicks that actually worked. And if you notice, I'm not wearing the aviators if you're watching because my eyes are shitty, and my aviators are only single vision, and I'm an old man, and I got read shit, so
that's all I've got left is my eyes at this point.
Okay, so number one, if it wasn't for the pandemic, this character would have crashed, I believe. Dexter Loomis.
It's a hot take for me personally, but no, I get it. There's a lot of people.
I think the reason he got over so well is because there was nobody in the arena, so you could just put him somewhere and shine an orange light on him, and that started to get him over. And he started to I started looking forward to seeing him and stuff.
Yeah.
I think if it wasn't for the pandemic, I don't think he would have got over because by the time crowds came back, he was already over with the TV audience. And number two, and this is another. These are all going to be hot takes, I think, but this is horrible gimmicks that got over. Right. Basically, this is based on the man itself or women themselves, depending on who you pick, portraying them. They were the ones that got him over. Oh, and I do want to add a caveat. I'm not putting Undertaker in there. Everybody puts Undertaker in the best gimmick or the worst gimmick that worked list because of Mark Calloway. I'm not putting him in there.
And we already technically talked about him in the Ghost episode, so.
Yeah.
You guys didn't get to hear it because it was a Ghost episode.
So just wait till, Luch and I don't know, when we surprise drop it or something.
Yeah. It's not a surprise anymore. It's going to happen now. Anyways.
So number two, Luchasaurus. Because if you look at it on paper, a 6'5" luchador who kayfabes as a dinosaur, whose tag team partner is Luke Perry's son, no way in no universe should that get over. Yet he is getting chants at every show. He is still over. He did a super duper flip off the stage.
Yeah, he did that sunset flip off the stage at Full Gear.
And
nuts.
Everybody went nuts. Okay. Number three, Gold Dust.
Oh man.
Was he one of yours?
Yeah.
He is one that gimmick was horrible.
He's
no way should have got
number
over
one in this list.
Huh?
He could be easily number one in this list.
Yeah. And number four, or number one, depending on which way you're going, worst gimmicks that actually got over, Mankind.
Ooh. Yeah. All right.
When he came in, the snorting pig pulling hair out, horrible music, all that.
Yeah.
And now everybody loves Mrs. Foley's little boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
that's a good one actually. I wouldn't have ever thought about that, of course, because Mick Foley. But yeah, no, that's a good one. And honestly, and Goldust was the only one on there that I was that was going to be on my list, but I'll improvise on that so we don't have the same ones. these are in no specific order. So when I count them down, it's not like, best to worst or vice versa. It's just like the list in general. But I have to say, even though the gimmick, it definitely got over, and to this day, it's still oddly over, even though it didn't do a whole lot for this person's career, it kind of also did, but the Boogeyman.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of a sleeper gimmick. Like it's so cringy that people loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even me, like, I'm not going to lie. If I saw Boogeyman pop up, I get a little, because it's so stupid that it's great. Like, and to be honest, the dude was actually a pretty good fucking wrestler. He's a big, massive dude without the paint. He's pretty impressive looking, like they really probably didn't even have to do that, but he was missing teeth and had weird haircut. So why not make him a boogeyman? And he had a fixation for eating worms. So yeah,
smashing clocks on his face.
Hell yeah. This one's gonna possibly get me shit on, gross, a little bit. And it worked for a short period of time for a niche group of people. But Eric Bischoff's kayfabe nephew, Eugene.
Yeah.
That should, first of all, that if that were to happen in 2021, WWE would be digging its grave right now.
Oh, yeah.
Which, again, is not against the man who did the gimmick, because he's actually, one, a fantastic wrestler, which is why he was kind of put in a gimmick of someone who emulates all of their favorite wrestlers, because he could work any style. He's a very underrated wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion. I forget what his name is.
Nick Dinsmore.
Yeah. So in OVW, he was, as himself, he had a pretty good go. And then for whatever reason, they decided to bring him in as Eric Bischoff's special nephew. But as awful as it kind of was, people were rooting for the character. So he was over in that short period of time where he was actually in the moment. Oh man. So this is a loophole. Okay. I'm only saying this one because it got over in all the worst ways possible. And so not necessarily in the sense of like The Undertaker, for example, it was a bad gimmick that did really well. This one's just really famous. And that's the Shockmaster. Another one that's basically just straight up wrestling meme famous. Shockmaster lasted what, like 2 weeks? Maybe that.
I saw, because I actually saw a clip where they did the debut of the Shockmaster, and then they also showed him like 2 weeks later, and he was this bumbling buffoon, and I felt so bad for. Was it Fred Ott? Is that who played? I felt so bad for him because like Shockmaster was supposed to be a main event player, and then
how? Like, who did they have doing the fucking costumes and like?
Oh yeah,
it was
the spray painted
stormtrooper mask.
It was so on it. It was so corny, and then
it doesn't make any sense. And then it's kind of tough because, again, there's so many, but it's weird because as I was going through a list the other day of, oh man, there's another one that's pretty good. But as I was going through a list of them just to kind of refresh my memory a little bit, there was one that kind of stuck out to me, and I didn't understand why it would have been on this list. And I guess I do, but I'm going to go with my fourth being Papa Shango. Because at first I was confused. Why was Papa Shango on this list? One, because I'm biased. When I was a kid, he was one of my favorite fucking characters in wrestling. So I didn't get why he would be in the worst gimmicks. But in all honesty, a like straight up traditional witch doctor character is just as weird as like it's that version of the Boogeyman in a weird way. But it lucked out because everybody knows who Papa Shango was for a number of reasons. One, because it was a standout character. Two, everybody knows Godfather, and because so the guy that played the character definitely If it was just some dude who could barely wrestle and wasn't really any good with the Papa Shango shit, nobody would know that name. And if it did, it'd be more of one of the meme famous characters than it would be an actual gimmick that got over. But I think that Papa Shango did fairly well in the short period of time he was Papa Shango.
He had a feud with the Ultimate Warrior. He had a feud with
right.
Who else? Well, he worked. Didn't he work with Jake Roberts too? And I mean, he was on top for a while. So high mid card at least.
Exactly. And again, if it wasn't for that him portraying that character as well technically as he did, who knows if he'd have still stuck around in the company as long as he did. And then one honorable mention due to the fact that we're creeping up on Thanksgiving. We gotta mention the gobbledygooker, right? Right? Because Undertaker thought he was going to be Eggman because of
that was funny. Please don't make me be the Eggman.
So yeah, I think the gobbledygooker is one of the most famously awful gimmicks of all time. It wasn't a wrestler though. That's the weird part. But it
was Hector Guerrero.
Well, I know it was an actual wrestler. I mean, the gobbledygooker wasn't a wrestler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, there's this week's Mount Rushmore, and yeah, I'm still kind of bummed out. You took Goldust from me. It's one of my favorite gimmicks of all time. One of my favorite.
Let me go for it. Well,
of all time.
Me too. I had an honorable mention though.
What's that one?
I had a King Booker because
dude, yeah,
he was 100%. He was so over the top that you should hate him and just want to turn the TV off, but. It was so fucking entertaining.
He was very, very, very good at making a completely awful character likable in the sense of hating him. You know what I mean? Like he was a lovable. You couldn't help but love that character, even though it was so awful. But his comedic timing and the accent. He went all in with it, and that's what you have to do in this business.
Yeah.
Like you have to go all in. Speaking of all in, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about AEW Full Gear. I sorry for getting you excited there. I didn't mean to do that. I don't know what you thought I was going to say, but so
I perked up.
So we're at this very moment from the opening of the show. We're at 17 minutes already. Okay, so not that much. We're about to talk about Full Gear though. Let me start off by saying at BFR Bill Veggie from Band from Ringside podcast, who's known for being a very devil's advocate-esque type person on Band from Ringside podcast at BFR Pod.
A little jaded, kind of a bitch.
No comment. So anyways, you need to jump on his Twitter from time to time. He doesn't get on there very often, but when he does, he's either going to say something that's really going to piss you off and then just dip. Like and not even respond or do anything, or he's gonna say some shit that really actually makes a lot of sense. And let me find it real quick because he can be very critical about things sometimes. And yes, just like the rest of us, he's an AEW mark. He loves AEW for a lot of the same reasons we do. But he's also been very blatantly known for not being much of a fan of Darby Allin, for liking MJF, but not thinking he's a very good wrestler. And various other talents and angles and different things. He's really good at pointing out the things that some AEW people that are just so all in on AEW, no pun intended, will just never mention. And so he tweeted like a star rating on the pay-per-view. Before we get into the pay-per-view, let me because this was mind-blowing to me. First of all, he said MJF versus Darby was a 4.5 stars. 4.5. Like a dude who doesn't really like either one of those wrestlers when they started in the company is now giving them an almost 5-star rating. He said the tag title match between the Lucha Bros and FTR, which fucking Cornette had some awful things to say about. He gave it a 4.57 or 4.75 stars. Great fucking match. He said Punk Kingston, 18 stars.
That's out of 5.
Yeah, out of 5.
18 out of 5.
He gave Danielson Miro 25 stars out of 5. And then he gave Hangman Omega 89 stars out of 5. I just wanted to bring that up because somebody who's very jaded from time to time when it comes to his wrestling, 85 stars out of 5. Man. So I just wanted to bring that up. Also, the whole Cornette thing. You can jump if he hasn't blocked you for talking shit, jump over to his Twitter and he was talking shit because apparently the worked punches on the top rope in the corner were very worked. And then also he apparently apparently the finish was botched, which I didn't really notice.
For which match?
For the tag title match.
Really? I
didn't notice. I was high on that match. I did not
notice. Yeah, and I mean, we're a couple of fans. He's been literally in the industry for 40 years, so he's going to be able to pick up on nuanced stuff.
I get it. I get it. And again, I'll shit all over Cornette all the time. And in saying all of that, I think he's probably one of the best minds in the business to an extent, and he's probably got more knowledge than almost anybody in the business to an extent. But just shut the fuck up. Anyway, so AEW Full Gear was this past weekend, and I didn't get to watch it right away on Saturday, so I had to completely ignore all of my social medias for almost 2 days because I didn't get the chance to watch it till the next night. Which, Patrick, thank you for the hookup. What's crazy is it was a 6-hour event, and even after you had already watched it, and I was watching your recap or whatever you want to call it, I couldn't fast forward it. So I had to watch all of the packages at the beginning, all of the buy-in, and then sit through the entire pay-per-view, which was fine.
I mean, the buy-in was good.
It really was. No, I was impressed. I was actually kind of happy about that. I will say, by the end of this fucking pay-per-view, I was exhausted. And during the Omega Page match, I started kind of fading a little bit. And it wasn't because of the quality of the match. I was just exhausted from a long-ass day. So let's jump into it because, again, we could talk about it for hours. First of all, I wanted to mention that they had a completely new set for the pay-per-view, which normally they haven't done that very often. And that was nice. I love having new sets or a different custom set to pay-per-views. I think that's a fucking great. I also think they should do it for Rampage, but that's nitpicking. Dante Martin is a fucking star. When it came to that first segment at the buy-in, just his back and forth. The kid's real young, and I would expect in the next 5 or 6 years, he's one of those pillars that everybody talks about. So I forgot that we had done predictions for the buy-in, but only the one match.
Yeah. I didn't know about the Dante Martin match. In fact, excuse me, I'm eating peanut butter pretzels from Costco. They're delicious, and they're only $7.67 a giant tub. Anyway,
Jesus Christ, they're not a sponsor, by the way, but it'd be cooler if they were.
They would.
Get your 75-pound jar of pickles for only $16.99.
Excuse me. Yeah, I by the time I turned it on, it was during the Thunder Rosa, now the Rose, the tag team match. So yeah, I didn't even know about Dante Martin until I was scrolling Twitter, and I was like, "Oh shit, I missed that." It
was really good.
Who do you take on?
Man, I didn't write it down.
Okay.
Oh, wait, hang on. Let me. I'm on the fucking results right here.
Was it Jeff?
They don't have the.
Okay, was it Dave?
Dave?
Was it Conrad?
Thompson?
Horatio.
Okay, so they don't have that one listed on here for some reason. They have the Sheeta, Thunder, Hater, Rose match. So yeah, I don't remember exactly, and I feel like
was it Bray Wyatt?
Yes, it was. He returned to face Dante Martin. So the winners. Did I get the point on the Sheeta Thunder Rosa match? On predictions?
I think we all got the point on that. I don't have the sheet with me.
Wow. Here,
I could go grab it.
No, you're good. I'll pull it up from the text message. Let's see. Oh, actually, I didn't get the.
Yeah, we didn't send you the results.
That's all right.
I'll go grab it. I'm going to grab it.
He's going to grab it, everybody. So, yeah, that being said, he's going to get that so we can see the results of who won that prediction or who didn't. but yeah, the buy-in was actually pretty cool. It was definitely better than what most places do, in my opinion, just based on the fact that it felt like a part of the show. It didn't feel like just a couple of matches that were just thrown in, even though they kind of were, at least as far as the Dante Martin match is concerned. But obviously they're putting a spotlight on Dante Martin, and it's not the brightest spotlight yet, which rightfully so. But yet again, me marking out on how they treat their younger talent, knowing they're going to be the future of that company one of these days. So that's really cool. I wish this had the results of that first match, because again, they're only mentioning the women's tag match.
I'm back.
All right, so dance.
Okay.
Dance.
My wife does. My wife does not.
Yeah.
She does not have it, or maybe she did send it to me. I just got a text.
Okay. So
nope, that was a text from you.
That's all right. I have the list here, but I don't remember who. Oh wait, okay. No, I can do that. Hang on here. I got this. We got this, everybody. No problem. No problem. All right. So I'm sitting here saying, oh, we don't have the results.
Oh, I got it.
Oh, well, damn it.
Okay.
So
you and I went Nyla and Hater, and
gotcha.
My wife went Thunder Sheeta.
Okay.
That's a cool name. Thunder Sheeta.
So she got the point there.
She got the point.
So we're going to move forward to Darby Allin versus MJF. Let me start by saying, first of all, MJF's like all purple gear. And the funny thing is, he went on Twitter not too long after the match and tweeted Prince is mid. And so, first of all, fuck MJF for so many reasons, and don't ever talk about the King Prince like this. But it was also it was great. Darby's opening videos are always fucking super cool, like with the car on fire and the whole thing.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
I don't know. I thought it was a little. Maybe it's an age thing. I was like, this a little too fucking extra emo.
I love it.
The quality was great, but I'm just like, I don't know. I love his little cartoon in the beginning.
Yeah.
But I don't. Anyway, his makeup though, holy shit! Cool, AEW Glam, they kill it on his makeup.
Cool. Yeah, I agree. What I wasn't expecting with this match is I figured it'd be good. I didn't think so. We were talking about which ones we thought would be the sleeper matches of the night. This match is fucking up there. This match was way better than it had any reason being. They had like that luchador chain wrestling thing going on towards the that first half of it, where they just went for like what felt like 5 minutes back and forth. Like I was like, holy shit, I wasn't expecting this from either one of them. Darby doing that suicide dive that he does, that he's just like a torpedo and literally looks like he's gonna hurt both of them every time. That chain wrestling, and then they brought the chain wrestling back towards the end of the match, which was even more intense because they had already gone so long and beat the shit out of each other. It was a fantastic match. And then the ending was exactly what it needed to be. The finish was great, you know, with MJF getting the ring out, and taking Darby out with the ring, and then
winning with a headlock takeover.
Yeah, exactly what he said he was going to do. Like this whole match was done fantastically. Like it was such a good match. And then so let's see where we at on that. Where's it at? So where's Darby. So Casey took Darby Allin and you and I took MJF. So
so right now we're all three tied.
Yeah. So anyways, that match was a hell of an opening match. Like who'd have thought? And like honestly, like I love both of those guys, but I was not expecting that. Then we had the tag team title match. FTR versus the Lucha Bros. Lucha Bros entrance was awesome. I thought that was super cool.
It was really cool.
Yeah, they're again. So FTR, I think everybody knows they're one of the greatest tag teams currently there is in the business, period. And Lucha Bros, I mean, not only are they fantastic, but like I tweeted out during it, fucking Ray Phoenix is not from this planet. Ray Phoenix is a fucking wrestling god. This man does shit I've never like. I can't even explain.
The one thing I remember for when he got punched or whatever and knocked down and just popped up with a super kick. I'm like, where the fuck did that come from?
So cool.
It was like literally like a second and a half that he hit the mat, came up with a super kick. I would need about 35 seconds to stand up, stretch out. You know?
Yeah. And that was one of the things I tweeted out too, like even regarding the first match. So the first match felt like fucking pro wrestling. Like I even mentioned, it checked a lot of pro wrestling boxes. It went everywhere. It went all over the spectrum of what pro wrestling is. And the same fucking thing happened with that tag match, because the fun dynamic between the Lucha Bros and FTR is FTR's got that whole no flips, just fists attitude. And then they have the Lucha Bros, who are king flips.
Yeah,
you know, the kings of that style and lucha libre, and obviously with FTR having the AAA tag titles, like it's such a good dynamic of them being the way they are. But they have the luchador, like they have the AAA tag titles, like in a company that's nothing but flips for the most part. Like to me, that's super fun. And yeah, again, they're AEW going quote unquote all in with this pro wrestling thing that they keep trying to shove down people's throats, rightfully so. Great fucking match, and I was already tired after this one.
Oh, when that match started, I said, "Good Lord, I'm gonna need a Xanax."
yeah, it was nuts. I also love some of the like smaller details of this match, like Dax tying Penta's mask to the ropes, like that. That's so cool. Like that was such a creative spot. They did it. Throughout this whole pay-per-view, there was a lot of Eddie Guerrero tributes, clearly.
And apron spots.
Yeah.
But
there was.
I will say I loved the fact that they gave so many people the opportunity. We'll I'm sure we'll talk about the other Eddie spots, but if we don't, there was a lot of them. I love the fact that Tony or whoever was, that it was just like, yeah, go out there. Because if this were WWE, you would have one person do an Eddie spot. You would have one person do an apron spot.
Which is kind of an old school mentality, because you don't want to do too many of the same spots in each match. Usually, if that was WWE doing it, although in this case, being Eddie Guerrero, I don't give a fuck what company did it. Every match could have an Eddie spot. That ain't gonna bother me, So,
but I will say, and this is coming from my doing stand-up comedy. So like if I was doing one of my bits, like I did a show once, and there was another comic about my age, and he went on before me, and he did a bit about video games and a prostate exam, and I forget the third one. And all my bits were about video games, a prostate exam, and whatever the third one. There were completely different jokes, but I was like, oh my god! So I had to like go in and think about my whole set again and go out there, because you don't want to see that. But on the same token, like with the apron spot, we've done shows to where there'll be 4 or 5 of us on the show, and we will just do something like we will make a joke about a platypus, and then the next person makes a joke about a platypus. By the third person, make a joke about a platypus. Then like the 4th and 5th person, the audience is expecting the platypus joke, so they're kind of waiting for it. So that's why I like the apron spot, was they did it in every fucking match that you were like, when's the apron spot?
Right.
So
yeah, it's like setting up giving everybody the opportunity to help set up the punchline, basically.
Yeah, and it's kind of an Easter egg, or a common thread throughout the whole show.
I agree. Yeah, and the first person of the night, aside from the buy-in when Vicky came out, there was a lot of Eddie chants. That was actually the first time of the night that I noticed any of the Eddie stuff. But the first physical thing I remember seeing was when I think it was Dax did the frog splash. And everybody
did the 3 amigos.
Yeah, and then there was that's what it was. It was Three Amigos. Dax also tried to use the AAA title, or he did use it behind the referee's back, but it didn't help him any. That's when the Three Amigos came in. Penta into the frog splash, more Eddie chance. Obviously, the Lucha Bros win and retain the AEW World Tag Team titles. Again, fucking banger match. This one was one of the ones I was looking forward to most. Miro Danielson, just for the simple fact that they're the epitome of WWE. Well, I mean, maybe not as much Bryan Danielson, but two guys from the WWE that may not have always gotten the potential. Like Bryan Danielson in the later years, obviously, and Miro pretty much almost the whole time was like, you know, a dangling in front of us the whole time. And Miro over Rusev is leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
Just fantastic. Yeah, one of the highlight spots for that for me was Miro. Like it was like halfway through the match, maybe a little bit more, like 3/4 of the way through the match. Miro looking up to his god to like get the strength from his god. Like I thought that was fucking cool as hell. Yeah, that was super good, and it was a very stiff match. Like those two they had to have said beforehand, "Hey, let's go beat the shit out of each other." Like it felt like. It's almost like the entire night kind of felt a little like, and I think I tweeted this even, it felt a little like WWF, WCW, and ECW in all the best possible ways through the pay-per-view. It had a little bit of the Attitude Era that wasn't super overly disgusting or sexual or anything like that, but it had grit to it. It was a very gritty, rough show, and it kept my interest the entire time. Yeah, and that the whole him reaching up to his god for the strength of his god, like that ended up coming out in his favor because he ended up like kind of hulking up at towards the end of it, just taking all the punishment. It was a very stiff match.
It was good. I did like when he put his arms up and let Danielson kick him and stuff, and then he was coming back with his kicks. I really enjoyed that. I went Miro on this.
Same.
But looking back, had Miro won, it would have foreshadowed the main event. Having Danielson win, you weren't sure who was going to win the main event. So
true.
Yeah.
And that goes back into our discussion from last week where I had mentioned that taking losses in AEW, although in the rankings, but this one wasn't for the rankings technically, but I feel like I'm glad it happened the way it did, even though I took the wrong prediction on it, because I have a feeling, again, Miro losing is just going to make his character more powerful and more finishful.
Me too.
And he's going to enrage him because he can't lose. He can't fucking lose. He's Miro. He's God's favorite champion, you know, or whatever the case may be. Like, I feel like him taking the loss is actually better for him than winning that match.
Yeah, no, and that's the beauty of armchair quarterbacking after the show.
Right. Yeah,
I mean, I listened back to the podcast. I was like, yeah, those are some good ideas, and if it worked out, yeah, it'd have been fun. But that's why we're not on the booking committee, and we're just a couple idiots that speculate.
Hey, speak for yourself. So then we went on to what was it?
Hey, fuck you.
Don't lump me in with you. I ain't no idiot. Let's see. So what do we have? Super Click versus Jurassic Express and Christian Cage. Next. The fucking Bucks, man. Those fucking young Bucks with the goddamn purple facial hair. Like, they are so fucking pro wrestling. It's painful.
And they are the epitome of I love to hate them.
Exactly. That's exactly.
And I thought, those fucking pink pants in 4K, you're going to burn my fucking screen.
This is I'm pretty sure this is the match specifically that I said felt like that era of pro wrestling with WWF, WCW, and because they were all over the place because this was the Falls Count Anywhere. So Jungle Boy, and each one of them represented different eras of all of those companies too. So like the Young Bucks, for example, reminded me of like the Macho Man era, but also like the Hardy Boys, but also this, like Jungle Boy seemed like straight up Dusty Rhodes WCW era with the jeans and the boots and the big hair, and he's got the beard and he's kind of grizzled now.
My favorite part was the fact that he wore jeans, but his regular boots, his regular Jungle Boy boots.
I kind of popped for that too.
That cracked me up.
But then they had like these hardcore elements where they shoved all those fucking tacks in Jungle Boy's mouth and like super kicked them out of his mouth. Like that's a WCW thing. They had the tack knee braces, which I've, give it to the Bucks. They do it with the shoes. Now they got the knee braces to do the triple. What do they call it? The triple.
Triple click. I don't know.
Well, yeah, fuck you is what it's called. Triple fuck you.
Or the 3 trigger, or
yeah, sunset flips by dinosaurs off of stages, like tables, chairs, fucking. It was nuts. This is another one though that. Oh, go ahead.
One thing I wanted to mention, because the camera work in this pay-per-view was phenomenal, because they would be focused on whoever, and then all of a sudden fucking Christian comes flying up out of nowhere. You're like, where the fuck did he come? And like in the Lucha Brothers, Penta's standing in front of FTR, and then the way the camera works is all of a sudden Ray Phoenix just drops in like a superhero, and you're like, where the fuck did? So
they really had it very tightened up with the cameras and the production of it.
Shit! I mean, there wasn't much of a difference between being there like we were 2 weeks ago and watching on TV. It was
same. I agree.
It was the camera crew is phenomenal. But yeah, anyway, back to Jungle Boy, Jurassic Express Cage versus Super Click.
Yeah, so ultimately, we took the L on the predictions on this one as well, because, and thank God, Jungle Boy.
I liked it.
I did too. Honestly, even on my wrong predictions, I wasn't dissatisfied, and that's a new one. Like for me, like. Because we're very cynical to WWE and what they do and what they could be doing and blah, blah, blah. The smart mark in all of us pours through our fucking sweat glands. But we also know that everybody's safe in AEW for the most part so far, that nobody's gonna, if you take a loss again 2 weeks in a row, it's not gonna hurt you. They're gonna do something with your losses. So, but I think Jungle Boy and them actually needed the win, because they kind of been getting beat on and tossed around, and other than Adam Cole getting concertoed, and they're kind of giving Jungle Boy a little bit of an incentive to be a little edgier by, the whole tease of him doing the concerto and like being the one to do it, and which is new because he's kind of a sweetheart, good guy,
white bread. Yeah, just
maybe kind of morphing him into like an anti-hero face, possibly. Like
I think just giving him a little edge, just giving just giving a little tarnish on the polished personality.
And there's
nothing wrong with that
it belongs in. If it was just a normal match and he did that, it'd be a little bit, I'd be a little worried. But it's a match where they fucking shoved his mouth full of tacks, beat that motherfucker's ass, and then I had tweeted, and I like this, bad prediction, fun match. So yeah, ultimately, Jungle Boy took the pin. And so Jurassic Express, Christian Cage take the win on that one.
And my wife got the point on that, and her reasoning behind it was they're building Jungle Boy.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I also wondered the whole time, and I hope they don't, because to me, it's like Luchasaurus reminds me of like Kane. That type of masked, big giant masked character, although he's got Kane beat by a long shot on his athletic ability. Kane was great, but he was just a big stiff guy, like that was his whole thing. Luchasaurus is one of the Lucha Bros, but he's like 7 foot tall. You know, like he's so good.
Yeah, and I don't like that they just bring him in as the big guy that does a bunch of spots, clears the ring, and then gets, you know, beat down by 3 guys thrown out. And that I want more story with Luchasaurus, but
I have a feeling it'll come eventually. They just got to find the right place for it. Like almost like I would almost think it'd be interesting for him down the line, like say Dark Order flipped heel again and like went through that whole thing again. Put Luchasaurus with the Dark Order. I think, you know, there's something you could switch up and it could be interesting. That's not necessarily the best idea in the world, but yeah, so he's always fun. Obviously he sells t-shirts. Like he's a great character. People shit on him in the beginning, but now can't help but love him. Like that's when you know you're getting over, bud. Then we had the Cody match, which I don't have that one.
Cody Pack versus Black and Andrade.
This one was interesting. I felt like this was going to be the sleeper, and it was a good match. But I think it was a good middle of the road match. And pretty much my big takeaway again was like, people fucking hate Cody Rhodes, and either it's because they don't want face Cody Rhodes as like myself, or they just really see something that they can't stand in the guy. I understand because in the beginning I was that way, but I think Cody Rhodes is fucking great. Honestly, like I think he really, whether he's face or he's heel, he serves a legitimate purpose, I think. And I don't know. I like Cody Rhodes. What'd you think of the match?
Match was good, but outside of the I think it's the next one, or outside of the street fight, this was, I mean, I would probably give it 4 stars, which on a normal show is great, but I think every other match outside of the street fight was above 4 stars. My thing with Cody is that he wants to come out like he loves us and he's one of us and all this stuff, but he's got his own special entrance ramp. He's got his own special, like, you know, and all that stuff. And then he comes out and he's doing that, come on, and, you know, trying to get people to cheer for him and stuff. It's almost like he's disconnected from everybody, but he, you know, and he doesn't really, he's oblivious to it. You know, that's what I don't like about his in-ring work, his promo work. I heard him on Busted Open and he's very entertaining, but it's that fucking entrance pisses me off, because it's like, I'm better than to come out of either of these tubes.
Well, and you know what? This is what I always hope happens with Cody because of all of those exact things that you just mentioned. Remember when Bayley flipped heel and it was kind of awkward because we all wanted it to happen, but I don't know if she was ready yet or knew exactly what she needed to do.
Yeah, she needed to, but she didn't know how to fill those shoes.
Right. So, but then when it started to work and she started to get over, is when she was doing I don't understand why you don't like me.
Mm-hmm.
So she was being kind of bratty and shit, but she was playing like she was still a role model, but she knew she was a heel. So she was using that, you know, to get that over. I think if Cody were to, I don't understand why you guys don't like me, but he's doing all these things where he's bigger and better than all of us with his entrance and all the flames, and my dad was Dusty, and you know, he could be playing on the spoiled brat of pro wrestling. I have my own wrestling company. I'm better than everybody. But also being like, but I don't understand why you don't like me. Look what I'm doing for you. Like he could be playing those two dynamics and making himself a very obnoxious heel that would make us love him because we know why he's doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then it would be a reason for his over the top shit.
I think doing the ultra white bread stuff, but having the cocky entrance and stuff, I think that hurts him. I think if he did go more heelish, because he said he'll never go heel. He was like, well, you know, I'll get booed in this city, but I'll get cheered in this city. And
so he's going to try to do the John Cena effect.
I think so. And the other thing, I mean, I don't know, but he tries to portray himself as like bigger than Triple H and bigger than Cena and bigger than these people. And it's like, I don't see it. I mean, he's great. He did, he went to the indies and just blew up the indies and stuff after he got released, and he showed WWE what they had. But I don't see him up there with those legends.
Not yet, anyway.
Not yet. No,
we've got time, especially with his own company. There's ways of him to be able to work his way. And why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he reset his legacy with his own company down the road? He's got so much time. You know what I mean? So, and like I said, I understand people's dislike for Cody Rhodes because there's still a part of me that is annoyed by him, but there's also an even bigger part of me that actually is, I don't know, I can't help but like him. I don't know what it is, but ultimately we took the L on this prediction as well. I picked Malachi Black and Andrade, but we got the face win yet again.
Yeah.
There's a little rift between both teams off and on throughout the match,
which was fun. The blind tags on Cody and Pac was great.
Probably just setting up two new feuds, but like Malachi versus Andrade. You telling me that wouldn't be fucking amazing? We've had it NXT.
Yeah.
That shit was amazing.
We had it. And I mean, imagine not having even the NXT chains on you, what those two can do.
Right.
And then Pac Cody. Like I said, I don't like Cody's character, but in ring, oh fuck, he's good. And then fucking the bastard.
Oh, yeah, he's amazing. And that was one of my points on Twitter because I had tweeted out, that I didn't understand all the hate on Cody. But I said, well, is he the weakest link of all the four guys in that match, Cody? Oh, sure. Actually, by a long shot, he's the weakest link. But that's because all four of those, the other three guys in that ring are wrestling gods, like in a sense. They're just that fucking good no matter what. So, but yeah, great match either way. It was still fun, and I think it was in the right place because people were able to kind of calm down just a little bit, take a seat. They were still kind of hyped up. There's a lot of great.
Yeah, you had a little dip, but you went from like a 10 to like an 8, as opposed to like a 7 to a 2.
The Ty Conti, Britt Baker title match was really good.
This match is this had no reason to be as good as it was.
It was fantastic.
I mean, I would put it up there with Darby and MJF onto the quality of this is way better than it had any fucking right to be. And
it was a slow start too. So it took me a second. I was like, this is, I don't know how I feel about this, but in pro wrestling fashion, classic pro wrestling, it built to that ending. And both of them are fucking fantastic. One of my biggest takeaways, did you ever play Horizon Zero Dawn?
No.
So it's that game with it's like a weird tech future.
Yeah, it's like technical Vikings, right?
Kind of, yeah. So you're like destroying these mechanical dinosaurs and all this shit. She came out, and I don't know if it was on purpose, but Ty Conti's gear was almost directly inspired by that game. It had to be.
I wouldn't be surprised because there's so many nerds in there and stuff.
Oh,
but yeah, her face paint again. AEW Glam did it. My wife turned me onto them on Instagram. If you want to see like good shots of their face paint,
yeah.
In fact, she turned me onto that so much that at some point during the fucking pay-per-view, I was like, "Oh my god, they put winged eyeliner on Aubrey Edwards." And Casey turned to me and she said, "They what?" And I went, "Oh fuck, you got me noticing that shit now."
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, I noticed the good extensions. I noticed the ratchet extensions.
You're gonna have to start doing like some red, white, and blue like eyeshadow and stuff for the show. Get people to watch. Would you guys watch the show more often on YouTube and subscribe and like it if Patrick starts wearing really, really glammed up red, white, and blue inspired eyeshadow?
I could do something different I could Darby Allin it. I could Heidi Howitzer it. I could fucking Abaddon. I could fucking
Ultimately, we got the W on this prediction, going with Britt Baker being the winner.
Which during the match, were there moments where you're like, Ty's gonna do it?
Yes, but at the same time, I also knew no. Like
I knew it too.
That's why I loved it. Like
but yeah, there were moments where it's like, holy shit, she's gonna win.
Yeah,
they're gonna pull the trigger on this
again. Checking all of the pro wrestling boxes with this pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
To retain, Britt Baker takes the AEW Women's Championship home with her. No negative loss on Ty Conti though, because all that did was put her in a huge spot.
She was good in NXT.
She's great.
God, she has improved so fucking much.
And just in less than 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The crowd was not sleepy at all this entire fucking pay-per-view. That being said, they woke the fuck up even more during the Eddie Kingston CM Punk match. This match was as good, every bit as good as I expected it to be. And let me just say this, because I'm going to start wrapping up just a little bit quicker. But I wanted to say it's 100% clear that who the crowd was behind. And I know we had that discussion last week. And there was a couple of little nods throughout the match, but it's a beautiful thing how much people love Eddie Kingston, and the dude fucking deserves every bit of it. And that's the whole reason why CM Punk made this match happen. Guaranteed. Yeah, it was great.
I know Eddie Kingston from when I started watching in fucking, July or August, whenever I got Sling.
Right.
Instantly became one of my favorites because he's the epitome of he's just the dude that made it, And then
people want to say Stone Cold is real, like his Stone Cold was so good because he was real. Sure. Eddie Kingston's not turned up to 11. Eddie Kingston is always at 11.
And and then then you find out that he's big. He's like, yeah, I got depression. What the fuck? So what? Yeah, I struggle to wake up in the morning. Fuck you. I do it. I go out there, I do my thing and stuff. Yeah.
He's a fantastic person to have in that business.
Fuck. You just love him. Business. Yeah, you love him more and more. I wouldn't want to piss him off.
No,
but
you'd be a dead person.
Yeah.
Punk channeled a little bit of his inner Cena and about midway through the match as well when he was doing the
that was funny
shuffle or whatever it was supposed to be. So
yeah, I caught when he did the shoulder tackles.
Yep. So the whole rumor of them purposely kind of adding that dynamic was true, which is cool because Punk did go on record many times that he was actually a big fan of CM Punk. They got along as well as you could for not being friends in the business. He really respected Cena in that scenario. So that was kind of a cool thing to see because it was actually kind of throwing back to a WWE thing that wasn't shitting on it. You know what I mean? Like it was actually that was cool. It was nice to see. And then fucking JR quoting, or I quote JR, what a goddamn fist fight. That popped me pretty hard. Punk wins via the GTS. And then there was that exchange of respect almost at the end, like I had called last week on the show, but Kingston rolls out probably because of his ego, not because he was playing heel, but I can't fucking do that right now, which means, and it's probably last night now that while you're listening to this, but on Dynamite this week, there'll probably be some type of back and forth a little bit about this. Maybe not, maybe not.
Well, and it could be, okay, so Punk finally respects Eddie and extends his hand. Doesn't mean Eddie has to fucking take it.
Exactly.
Just because somebody offers you respect doesn't mean you have to. Just because somebody offers you an apology, you can still be like, "Fuck you."
And in all honesty, I hope that's planting a seed for down the road. Like this isn't over, but it's over for now. They'll bring. This is a great story to tell.
And and it could be something where Eddie goes on and does his thing and stuff, and then Punk references it. A year down the road, and.
Right, exactly. And you never know how that will work out, but I'm intrigued to wait for it. That's the fun part.
What if a year, 2 years down the road, Punk is the champ, and who's the contender?
Right, exactly.
None other than Eddie Kingston.
And give it to Kingston.
It'd be kind of a rehashing of the basics of the Omega Page storyline, but at the same time, you have new twists and turns in there.
Exactly. Yeah, so intriguing nonetheless. I don't want to talk about this one a whole lot because it's just going to be me shitting all over it. But the Inner Circle ATT match was really, really hot garbage. I thought it was really awful. I barely watched it because the ATT guys looked completely lost.
Even in a street fight, even when it was just,
it was awful. It was just really bad. Even the finish was almost ruined because the one guy, whichever one it was, didn't do the spot quick enough. So he almost, what was it, with the title or something like that? I don't remember. He hit somebody up from the outside, hit Jericho. The Dan Lambert stuff wasn't even fun. It all seemed like, I've been talking about referencing how this reminded me of the golden era of pro wrestling in the 90s. This one reminded me of WWE right now. This match reminded me, this should have been on Crown Jewel. And the only ones that suffered were Santana Ortiz, Guevara, and Men of the Year. And
the one dude in the crowd that didn't get out of the way.
Yeah, right? I feel like that guy was a plant, but maybe not.
I don't know, the way he was screaming.
He was stuck in those chairs. It was hilarious. But it was stupid.
I liked some of the high spots that they did. They were fun. But yeah, the MMA guys looked totally way out of their element.
The best part of it was Tony yelling, "It's a toaster!
A bunt cake!"
Yeah, that was. I think he knew this match was garbage, so he had to do something to save it.
Oh, he went full on over the top, and I loved it.
Also, what was up with Sammy Guevara just pulling off all this Jeff Hardy shit, like blatantly? Like, the ladder spot, he did a fucking swanton in the ring, I think. But then he did the swanton off of the fucking ladder in the exact same spot as that WrestleMania moment. Yeah, so ultimately, another tribute to Eddie Guerrero. Jericho beat Lambert with a frog splash. Cool. That sucked. So anyway,
and I do want to give props to Jericho for being 52.
Yeah,
I think, and I don't want to insult his physical look, but he's not in the Y2J.
No,
he's like Y4 or 5J now.
God damn it.
But still, to be able to pull off the shit that he does, looking like a bag of soup.
In the famous words of JCB, "You ain't shit." That's fucked up. Cold as ice.
But to have that extra baggage, but still be able to do frog splashes and top rope Hakuna Matatas and stuff.
Luckily, he doesn't do it very often, so that's probably why he can pull it off. Hey, fucking Jay Lethal is all elite, baby.
I popped hard.
What? Jay fucking Lethal, dude. Like, I'm trying to wrap my head around what's gonna happen with that. Like, and he came out to the fucking, what did he call himself? The machismo? Like, he came out to the machismo music. Like, Jay Lethal is all elite, dude. I was not. So now it's obvious that they're gonna start maybe picking up some Ring of Honor talent, and that's fucking super intriguing. They deserve it over there, man. The talent over Ring of Honor may not be the best product in the world at this point. Obviously now it's over, but even in the last few years, but that is not that all of their talent has been fantastic. So that's super exciting. And then main event time, we're at an hour already. This is proof of long-term storytelling paying off and getting relatively unknown talent over to the point of the roof blew the fuck off of this place when Adam Page won that title.
And everybody's been talking about it too. And you know what I'm going to say, when he was walking down the ramp, that graphic, we're proud of you.
Yeah.
Just like, oh my God. I mean, it's still, I'm getting like warm fuzzies because
AEW, the company that cares. Like, it's just like those minute details are just, they know what they're doing.
That, and I popped for the fucking graphics team popping for Adam Page.
Yeah.
I'm just like, and I'm not gonna lie, I teared up a little. I gotta wipe my eyes out. It's just beautiful because it's such a show of respect about how much they love Adam Page as a man, whatever his real name is,
and they
Mike
know that the
Wazowski
fans
or whatever.
do. They like that's even more importantly. Like they know the fans are behind cowboy shit. Like, even I am, and I wasn't 100% convinced in the beginning. I like Adam Page in the beginning. I thought he was an intriguing character, but because of the story they've been telling, I'm fucking invested in that dude now.
Exactly.
That's the golden part of this business.
And that's how it works, is you have intriguing characters and you tell intriguing stories and you have them be coherent.
Yeah.
And then you have idiots like me and geniuses like you, because I don't want to lump you in with me.
Hey, genius works for me. You can call me that all day. I agree.
But you have people like us that are just like, I can't wait for fucking Dynamite tonight.
Right. Exactly.
And
again, the old WWF days. Like, you left a pay-per-view like, dude, I cannot fucking go to bed because Raw's tomorrow. Like, I have to know what's going to happen after this pay-per-view. Whereas now, obviously, in WWE, who gives a shit what happens the night after a pay-per-view? Because half the time, the pay-per-view doesn't mean shit unless it's one of the three. So, like, but, and regardless, even without that, like, it feels good to leave a pay-per-view like, oh, fuck, what's going to happen next?
Exactly.
That's the whole reason we watch. Otherwise, why? It's just something in the background. But I'm watching a movie. Like, I have to see the sequel. I have to see it.
Or you're hoping for a sequel.
Exactly.
Or something. Yeah. I mean, when I finish a TV series, I get on IMDb and I'm looking at like trivia and goofs and all this shit. And, and that's the kind of shit you want, to where, you want to not only watch the fucking show and enjoy the show, but you want to look at other, you want to fucking buy merch. Dude, just by following these people, I want to get a goddamn Murder Hawk action figure and take it on tour with me. Because I see the shit that fucking Archer's doing, and it's hysterical.
It's so good. Like, they're all very smart to what social media can be used for.
It's stupid shit like that. And when I go on vacation next, I want to bring my Murder Hawk figure and show him standing there. And hopefully fucking Archer likes my tweet. That's,
like, dude, actually he'll at you and be like, all right, dude, this is funny, but don't shower with that action figure ever again.
And I'm going to be like, I can't stop it. He's around my neck. I love my mini Hawk.
I love him.
I love him on my skin, like Nutri-Chris likes his DVDs on his skin.
Okay, so anyway, his skin. So yeah, okay. Sorry about that, folks. It's all right. Just fast, just ignore that happened. So regardless, at the end of the day, the end of the pay-per-view, and then of course Dark Quarter came out and congratulate him.
The beer swat.
Yeah.
That was great.
But yeah, so all in all, this pay-per-view was fantastic. And quite possibly, and we say this a lot, but probably the best pay-per-view they've had of the year. And that we say that it's like takeovers, like all over again. Like the original, like NXT takeovers. Like we were always like, how could this one possibly be better than the last one? And then it was. And then it was again.
My first AEW pay-per-view was All In, All Out. Which one is the
All
Out?
All In was before AEW. It was just
All In.
Yes.
Okay.
All Out is now their, like, what I guess they consider like their WrestleMania.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my first favorite, and I was blown away at how, like I said, I put it up there with, like, the takeovers and the was it the WrestleMania when Kofi won, and the 3-brand Survivor Series. I mean, those were like, and I would put the Royal Rumble where Edge returned and Drew won. Right. Those are like the epic pay-per-views of recent memory.
Well, and there was a lot riding on All Out. Or All In, either way. So there was that bit of it too, because it had to work. Like, you know what I mean? So they had to have the best show they could possibly have ever had, or this would never have worked.
But yeah, that's what, and that's what I mean. I'm putting it, it had that feel of like those ones, but at the same time, you only get them 4 times a year, just like takeovers. You only got 4 times, so it was like,
it was fantastic.
It just made it that much better. Whereas some of the WWE pay-per-views, the monthly ones, they're just glorified Raws and SmackDowns. These mean something and stuff. So I was blown away at how good All Out was, and then Full Gear just I don't. What's the next one? Revolution.
I'm not sure. Sounds about.
I think Revolution is the next one, and then Double or Nothing is in the spring, late spring, early summer. But it's just like how you. Because
they tell stories leading up to pay-per-views, and pay-per-views being the blow-offs of these stories or continuations of these stories. It's the whole. I like
the quarterly pay-per-views because you could build nice long stories.
Right. Exactly.
And then in the middle you can have shorter stories for other talent.
It's so simple. It's such a simple format. It's not simple to fill the format, but it's a very simple format.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So anyways, regardless, kudos AEW. You guys killed it again.
I'm hoping the stories stay good and keep me invested in stuff. The one thing I'm worried about though is like the in-ring stuff, because we're getting to a point of like diminishing returns because they're doing so much in the ring that what are you going to be able to do to top this? We've talked about this before with like finishing moves, like super kick was finishing move, that suplex was finishing move. Now it's like you get shit that it's going to be hard to top. You got super duper flips off the top rope, and
exactly.
I would rather them stick with just the wrestling and the stories and have cool in-ring stuff.
I agree. I think I trust them though. I trust them.
Me too.
I'll wait until they start fucking things up before I actually decide that it's something I'm not interested in. So, all right. So again, we're getting short on time, and we want to introduce this new segment to you guys. So give us just a second, and we'll be right back with one of the funniest things you've ever seen in your life, probably. I'm willing to bet. All right, everybody. So obviously we have changed backgrounds, so to speak.
We've relocated.
We have relocated. So Patrick came up with this concept a few weeks ago of doing Sideways in Time theater, where we're just going to kind of do little silly skits that involve topical things in pro wrestling for the most part. And so this may shit the bed. This may be the biggest piece of gold we've ever done. We're going to find out here in just a second. So you ready, Patrick?
Ready as I'll ever be.
So let's set the scene here.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, the scene inside Titan Towers boardroom just after the quarterly investor call on 11/4/2021. The two players are Vince McMahon and some unnamed lackey.
We'll call him Lackey Chris. All right. So yes,
and you get to see our acting abilities.
Oh, they're gonna be so good. All right. So and scene.
Oh, that was a great conference call.
Yes, sir, it was.
Now we need to make some roster cuts.
Roster cuts?
Yeah, trim the budget.
But we just made $250 million.
Trim it.
This close to the holidays?
Trim it, damn it.
Okay. All right.
Start with what's her name from NXT, Zeta Ramir.
I mean, okay, but she's got a lot of potential.
And Trey Baxter.
Huh? He's kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, he's too small. And Jessie Kamea.
Jessie Kamea. I mean, she's kind of doing the Robert Stone thing.
And Oni Lorcan.
Oni? Are you serious?
And Harry Smith.
The fuck? We just re-signed him. He hasn't even been back on TV yet.
And Katrina Cortez.
The Lady Luchador? She could bring in mass sale money for, young girls like Female Ray.
No, good. Go on. And put Grand Metalik and Lindsay Dorado in there.
So, do you hate luchas that aren't named Mysterio?
And B-Fab.
We just called her up from Hit Row with Hit Row.
Ember Moon too.
Did you smoke crack?
And Frankie Monet.
Oh dear God, she just moved here. we made those vignettes and they were trying to push her. Like, I mean, she's booked shit recently, but
even Marie too.
Okay, again, we just brought her back. What was the point of even bringing her back in the first place?
Nia Jax.
Okay, releasing somebody while they're out with an injury this close to Christmas?
Jeet Rama.
Holy hell. Dude just moved here from India, not Indiana. India. How's he gonna pack up and go now?
Scarlett.
Okay. But her and Carrion are money.
Oh yeah. Carrion too.
Oh my God. What if we didn't bungle his debut with the Road Warrior Gladiator shit?
And Mia Yim.
Okay, you did smoke crack, and please don't say it. Please don't say it.
And finally,
please don't.
For now, Keith Lee.
You fucking said it, son of a bitch. And scene. Yeah. I think it's fun. Look how big you've gotten. It's Vince's big ass head.
And
so yeah,
that is not a knock on any of the talent that was released because they're all phenomenal talents. That is a knock on the mismanagement of their characters and their contracts. And I'm back down to normal.
These fuckers. So anyways, hey, if you enjoyed that, give us a little shout if you want us to tighten it up, do some different ones, whatever it may be. I think it's fun, especially considering we're working on a little bit of a secret for down the road. A little bit of a secret. We've got a lot of secrets. But yeah. So anyways, I thought that was fun and it makes sense. And Patrick is right. We probably should have done that a couple weeks ago while that was still super fresh. But from what I understand, there's another wave of them coming. So it's not like it's going to go away anytime soon.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that might be a recurring skit.
Dun, dun, dun. So everybody, thank you for listening yet again to another episode of Sideways in Time. I want to give a shout out to Band from Ringside Podcast at BFR Pod, at BFR JCB, at BFR Bill, at BFR Zach with an H. With no JCB rant this week, but next week I'll make sure he makes up for that. I'm sure he will before I'll have to. For myself, Lucha Chris, for my guy over here, Patriot Pat, tell them what they need to do.
They need to tell Dog to fuck off, and then they need to mark the fuck out.
Oh, and I forgot to mention, like and subscribe our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
It's the only way this actual little event we just did will make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it will make sense in audio, but anyways, I'm trailing. So enjoy. Thank you for being here with us yet again for another week of Sideways in Time, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Get the fuck out. Goodbye.